massive transfer twists, injury chaos before a ball's even kicked, Aaron Ramsdale eyeing a shock move to Glasgow, Jordan Henderson tipped to bring Champions League winning leadership, Wolves circling like vultures for Nico Raskin, plus the Max Aarens deal is finally breaking cover, just as Lyle Cameron suffers an injury setback before even lacing his boots for pre-season. Stay with me, because this is not just transfer talk. These are our top viewers of the week with the most comments. Every Monday, I'll show them here in the video for you. Thank you all. You're amazing. Right, you listen to this because things are heating up in the transfer market, and Ibrox could be right at the center of it. Two big names being tossed around today, and both could bring serious noise to Rangers. First up, Aaron Ramsdale. You heard that right. The England international, former Arsenal #1, now at Southampton, but looking for an escape route after they went crashing into the English Championship. Apparently, the Saints are willing to send him out on loan this summer. Word is the boy's pulling in more than £100,000 a week down there. That's a staggering wage for a keeper who's not even playing top-flight football anymore now. Why would Ramsdale fancy Ibrox? Well, it all comes down to the World Cup. He's desperate to get back in Gareth Southgate's plans for next year, and sitting on the bench in the English second tier won't cut it. Won't. According to TalkSport, Rangers and Galatasaray are both sniffing about. But let's be honest, if you're wanting passion, pressure, and European football under the lights, it's got to be Ibrox every single time. Troy Deeney even weighed in on it during his breakfast show, Ramble. He reckons a move to Rangers makes total sense, especially with Russell Martin being a familiar face for Ramsdale from their time together before. Deeney called us a huge club and spoke about Ramsdale needing a stable, consistent environment. Stable? Well, clearly, Troy's not watched us in the last few months, but I will take the compliment. Now, while we're at it, there's another name that's got people talking, Jordan Henderson, a Champions League and Premier League winner linked with a move to Ibrox. René Meulenstein, former Manchester United coach, believes Henderson would bring leadership and experience that could be vital in stopping Celtic next season. The alternative for Henderson is apparently a return to Sunderland, newly promoted back to the English Premier League. But Meulenstein says it himself, fighting relegation with Sunderland versus battling for titles with Rangers. No contest, really. Would you take Ramsdale and Henderson at Ibrox, even if it meant blowing a huge chunk of the wage budget? Or should we steer clear of players just looking for a World Cup lifeline and one last payday? I reckon this news alone deserves a like, don't you think? It really helps the channel grow, mate. Now, here's one that's bound to split opinion right down the middle like a Glasgow derby tackle in the pouring rain. Nico Raskin, one of the few shining lights in what's been a rollercoaster time at Ibrox, is now firmly in the crosshairs of Wolves. A Premier League move could be on the cards, and by the sounds of it, this one's been brewing for the best part of 18 months. Word coming out is that Wolves have been keeping close tabs on Raskin ever since his first few months at Ibrox. Even with all the chopping and changing behind the scenes at Molineux, new technical director, new head of recruitment, the works, one thing stayed the same: their interest in the Belgian. And let's not forget, it's not just Wolves sniffing about. Porto, Marseille, Fiorentina, even Aston Villa have been linked with a big money swoop. The lads' performances for Belgium's national side towards the end of last season clearly didn't go unnoticed either, but here's where it gets sticky. Raskin's got 2 years left on his Rangers contract. Russell Martin apparently sees him as a key figure in this summer rebuild, and Kevin Thelwell, our new sporting director, is supposedly lining up a hefty new contract to tempt him to stay. But make no mistake, if the players' heads already turned towards England's top flight, then Rangers might be left with little choice but to cash in. The dilemma is obvious. Do you keep a player whose heart might already be south of the border, risking losing him for peanuts later? Or do you sell now and hopefully reinvest the money properly? Here's the real question. Should Rangers hold firm and force Raskin to stay and fight for the shirt? Or should we take the millions on offer and let him go chase the Premier League dream, even if it feels like we're constantly being used as a stepping stone for players looking to escape Scottish football? Right, it's been a summer of waiting, guessing, and plenty of refreshing the news feed, but it looks like the 49ers revolution at Ibrox is finally about to get moving. After weeks of speculation and not much in the way of actual signings, it seems like Max Aarens is set to become the first real piece of Russell Martin's rebuild puzzle. The Bournemouth right-back, who spent the back end of last season on loan at Valencia, is now reportedly on the verge of sealing a loan move to Rangers. And let's be honest, after only making 5 appearances in Spain, the boy will be desperate for regular football. Martin knows him well from his time managing down south and clearly thinks Aarens can be a key figure in this new-look side. Aarens' numbers from his time at Norwich show he's got the experience, with over 200 appearances there, chipping in with a few goals and assists along the way. Bournemouth didn't give him much of a chance, and with Andoni Iraola now happy to move him on again, Ibrox looks like the next stop. But here's the thing. As welcome as Aarens will be, one signing's not going to cut it. The Daily Mail are even saying this move should kickstart the 49ers revolution in Glasgow. And let's be real, if we're going to compete with Celtic, never mind Panathinaikos in the Champions League qualifiers, we're going to need a lot more through the door, and quickly. Names like Kwame Poku from Peterborough have also been floated around, and with him out of contract soon, that might be the next one to drop. But this feels like the calm before the storm, or at least it better be, because the clock's ticking. Do you trust this so-called 49ers revolutions? Or are you starting to wonder if we're just getting fed more spin while Celtic pull further ahead on and off the pitch? Well, you couldn't write it, could you? Rangers finally get a fresh face through the door in Lyle Cameron, and before he's even pulled on the shirt for a proper training session, he's crocked a minor calf injury, they're saying. Not serious, but disruptive. And let's be honest, after the injury nightmares of the last couple of seasons, hearing that word, disruptive, is enough to make you roll your eyes and mutter a few choice words under your breath. Cameron arrives with a decent pedigree. 14 goals and 9 assists in 41 games for Dundee last season. That's proper output from midfield, something we've been screaming out for. You'd think a young lad coming in would be buzzing and raring to go, but instead, he'll be spending the next week in the physio's room while the rest of the squad starts gearing up for the pre-season friendlies against Club Brugge and Middlesbrough. Russell Martin is already under enough pressure as it is. The fan base weren't exactly rolling out the red carpet for him, and now with this injury setback and a transfer window that's moving slower than rush hour on the M8, it's hardly the ideal start. Let's not forget, there's still uncertainty around Raskin and Diamande, with both being linked with moves away. Cameron picked up the knock during extra training he'd been doing off his own back, which, to be fair to the lad, shows he's got the right attitude, but that won't ease the frustration of missing valuable time with his new teammates at such a crucial point. Given our recent injury history, do you reckon Rangers have a serious problem with how we're managing player fitness and conditioning, or is this just another case of bad luck that we're all sick of seeing? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.